What do you think? Pick a team. Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. How about if we finish the NFC South, because we started there. We talked about Atlanta. We talked about the New Orleans Aints. That leaves Tampa Bay and the other team that's in the NFC South. Well, we talked about the Rams already.
We did talk about the Rams.
Okay, so if we did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we'll wrap up that division. How about
we're about 4 divisions in, and we got about 4 to go.
We got about 28 more to go. So we'll take a station break. How about that after we do the Buccaneers? Does that sound good, Joey?
All right.
Excellent.
Sounds good to me.
Tampa Bay. God.
Where do I start?
Where do we start? What can we say? I don't know. I'm still thinking about the year where they won the Super Bowl. They had John Gruden as their first year coach.
Hell of a man.
He had coached the Raiders.
I have a man crush.
For
I
several
don't know
years.
about you.
Well, you can talk about that in a minute. I do want to hear about it.
I don't want to go into details about that.
Well, listen. When they had John Gruden as their head coach, and they played the Oakland Raiders in the Super Bowl, they had a big advantage, which is that the Raiders hadn't changed any of their plays. And so
he knew the playbook.
They knew the Raiders'
Al
playbook.
Davis routed him out of Oakland, and he said, "I'll get you back, you old scroggly
and Al
grandpa
Davis,
glasses with the chains on it."
And in all the time that they had between when they had John Gruden and when they didn't have John Gruden, they kept the playbook the same. So during the Super Bowl, what I remember hearing was the Tampa Bay players were, they would listen to the Oakland quarterback, who at the time was the guy that was real good.
Actually, in that Super Bowl,
and they would call out the play. It's whatever the signal is that the quarterback yells to his teammates to tell them what the play is. The Buccaneers would recognize it as the quarterback began it, and they would call it out so that they made sure all their teammates.
So he's 32, right?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Tobacco,
532,
and he's halfway through the play, and they already know what he's going to do. He's going to do a fullback run in the A gap.
So they had no chance. But anyway, all right, that's been 10 years, and maybe they've gotten over it.
It's kind of like playing poker with see-through cards.
Or like sunglasses or something.
Something.
So, what's Tampa Bay going to do this year? Beats me.
Can I give you a little heads up, because I think you might find this interesting? Give me the opinion, but I'm going to set it up for you.
10-year-old news, so I don't know who's on the team anymore.
Yeah, you are giving me 10-year. How far back you want to go? We're already running out of tape.
Like I said, we give you the facts.
You want to talk Johnny Unitas? You think this guy's going to win a Super Bowl?
We don't speculate, do we? Go ahead.
Tampa Bay is actually a very interesting team, because they went out and they got Darrelle Revis from the New York Jets.
Oh, yeah.
They also picked up another really good defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
They're
going to pay the price for that one.
Yeah. So they beefed up the defense very nicely. Mm-hmm. Where's this guy Josh going to come in? He's had a couple of good years as quarterback.
Freeman. Josh Freeman.
Yeah. How free is he? I don't know. He's not playing like he's free.
Oh, I tell you what. Go ahead. I got a story for you about Josh Freeman and the Buccaneers.
So
they'll be better this year.
I think Tampa Bay's been one of those teams that, like, the last couple of years, they've been very mediocre, and they've had moments and games of brilliance, but they haven't been able to keep it up. But with the changes that they've made on the defense, and I'll think of the other guy for you here in a minute, but Darrelle Revis is Tampa Bay bound, and he says he's hook, line, and sinker on that team. In fact, even though he's allowed to leave, ever since they picked him up about 5-6 weeks ago, he's on the field every single day. And he has not left the city of Tampa Bay. But would you either? Especially if you lived in a place like, I don't know, Antarctica?
Has he been on the field when his teammates were on the field?
Yes, he has.
Wow. Now that's dedication. I thought he was just like going out there to sort of jog
no.
the right place.
Well, they pay the guy enough money.
Some sit-ups.
I'd expect him to clip the grass too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it's easier to get injured if you're out there playing full contact tackle.
All right, so they got this kid, Doug Martin.
Doug Martin.
What a hell of a little running back, right?
Fabulous.
All right.
He used to play at some small college.
And Vincent Jackson from Colorado Springs, who played for the Chargers. He got traded there, and he's a receiver.
Fabulous.
All right. And I talked to you a little bit. So who are they going to be, man? What do you think's going to happen?
All right, well, I'll tell you what I remember from 2 years ago. Not the season that just ended, but the season before that, Tampa Bay was a disaster. They lost something like 8 or 10 games in a row. And
I lost most of those.
For the last 5 games, they were non-competitive. I'm talking about, every week in the NFL, there's some team that loses by 30 points. But 2 years ago, Tampa Bay, for the last 5 or 6 games, however many, they lost every game by about 30 points. They were just getting smoked and creamed. It was a pleasure.
I was wondering what the hell was going on. It wasn't pretty.
Whatever was going on, it was bad. And the thing was, the year before that, they had a winning record. And I think it was Ron Rivera. Was he the coach a couple years ago?
He's coach of San Diego.
Okay,
and,
but 2 years ago.
No. And he was defensive coordinator. He was defensive coordinator in San Diego, went on to Carolina. But Tampa Bay's coach, before Greg Schiano, this guy Greg Schiano, right?
Yeah. Schiano.
Okay, we had Rasheed Morris.
Okay.
Brother Rasheed.
Then that was the one. They must have just had no faith in the coach whatsoever. I mean, there was a game, the last game they played, they were playing at...
I can understand 20%, but guys, no faith at all?
None. No, I'm telling you. Let me explain why I say that. Granted, it's the last game of the season. If you're not going to make the playoffs, there's not that much motivation. But they had done this for like 6 weeks in a row. They were playing at Atlanta, and I think the Atlanta scored the first 42 points of the game. And then Tampa Bay finally got a touchdown or two. They ended up losing by 20-something anyway.
I watched almost the game comes to mind, and
it was a pleasure to bet on.
Tampa Bay, there's a lot on the line now. They paid a lot of money, as you can imagine, to Darrelle Revis, who was getting a buttload of money from the New York Jets.
Yes.
He has arguably been called the number one best cornerback in the NFL for a couple of years now, and it just kind of. It's just going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting to see if Tampa Bay really steps up to the plate this year.
And what I think is going to work for them this year, besides getting Revis, it's Schiano's second year as a head coach, and the players that they brought in last season through the draft. So now this year it's going to be their second year. What I remember reading about their draft was they had drafted a lot of team captains because they wanted leadership on the field. They brought in, I couldn't name them, but there was a safety from Alabama. They brought in team captains from 3 or 4 different teams. Okay. So last year was the year where they first got to play together, and one more year of experience, one more year in Schiano's system. Freeman's already a proven NFL quarterback. Things are looking up for Tampa
They need to
Bay.
protect him. I think a lot of it had to do with protection last year, but he lost his confidence. If you go back and you watch the games, obviously it's been months since I have, but the one thing that stood out for sure is there was a difference in confidence with Josh Freeman. And he's going to have to decide which direction he wants to go. There's a lot of freshness there. I think Tampa Bay's got the pieces that they need to put together a lot better showing. And I really see him going to the playoffs, to tell you the truth, this year.
I agree.
I like the flavor they got. I just don't know what they're going to cook week in and week out, if you know what I mean.
So who's going to win the NFC South? Who's going to be second place and make the wild card?
You know, the Atlanta Falcons, hands down,
will win the division.
In my opinion, will win the division again.
Okay.
They've like I've said, they've gone out and they've got the little players that they needed to tweak the areas to make them even better contenders than they were last year.
Mm-hmm. All right. Second place in the division?
Let's see my choices.
Tampa, St. Louis, or?
I kind of like Tampa Bay.
Those other guys.
I like Tampa Bay to take second.
Or New Orleans, that's what I'm thinking.
It's going to be close. I'm with you. Between New Orleans and Tampa Bay. St. Louis has got another year under their belt, I think, to get the pieces to get the possibility of winning the division. So that takes care of the dirty South, so to speak, as they call it.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
So we got the Atlanta Falcons winning the division. Tampa Bay.
With a close second, Saints or Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
And St. Louis.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Tampa Bay is going to go second place and get the wild card from that division.
You like them too?
I do.
And you're saying a wild card?
Yeah.
All right.
Hot dog.
And we're going to be shooting some cannons this year, huh?
Cannons. So for the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Pirates and all that. It's true.
The Pirates too?
Raymond James Stadium. Do they still call it Raymond James Stadium?
I believe they do.
Hallelujah.
Or Raymond Burr, whichever the one. As long as Raymond's getting acknowledged.
Aaron Burr and Andrew Jackson.